The investigation into the grounding of a fully laden Cape-sized bulk carrier, the Hagen Oldendorff, while leaving Port Hedland in Western Australia, highlights that pilotage and towage continues to serve as primary risk control measures in ensuring the safety of port operations and ensuring demonstrated techniques and practices that increase the effectiveness of towage are appropriately documented, disseminated and implemented. On the morning of the 9th of April 2022, the Hagen Oldendorff departed its berth at Port Hedland with a pilot on board and 4 tugs assisting. The first of the tugs was cast off shortly after departure and the ship continued its passage of the port's navigational channel. As the pilot navigated the ship through a turn in the channel, the 2 shoulder tugs were cast off and retained as passive escorts, while the aft tug remained tethered as an active escort. Shortly after the turn was completed, the ship experienced a loss of electrical power supply to all the ship's analogue rudder angle indicators and, a few minutes later, struck the western batter of the channel. There were no reported injuries or pollution of the sea as a result of the grounding. The pilot manoeuvred the ship back into the centre of the channel and, with the assistance of additional tugs and a second pilot, resumed the outbound passage and conducted the ship to an anchorage outside port limits. The ship was found to be taking on water in the number 1 and 2 port double-bottom water ballast tanks. Surveys and inspections conducted over the following days identified substantial damage to the ship's bottom shell plating, including whole breaches of the ship's side shell plating of the damaged tanks and the failure of the transverse bulkhead between the tanks. The ATSB's investigation found that a short circuit in a bridge rudder angle indicator tripped the common circuit breaker for the ship's rudder angle indicators, resulting in a loss of electrical power and illumination to all analogue indicators. Following the power supply failure to the indicators, the ship's pilot initiated emergency procedures for a steering failure, with manoeuvring orders issued to maintain directional control of the ship, resulting in an uncontrolled turn to port and the subsequent grounding. The investigation also identified the pilot had cast off the ship's port and starboard shoulder tugs, which limited their ability to reduce the ship's speed or to arrest the turn to port. The pilot's decision to cast off these tugs was found to be inconsistent with the recommended practices of the port's implemented escort towage strategy. Furthermore, this best practice escort towage guidance was not integrated into the port user guidelines and procedures, or into the pilotage provider's safety management system.
Following this incident, the Pilbara Port Authority updated guidelines and procedures to incorporate tug retention and utilisation practices, and now provides greater guidance in the port's escort towage strategy. A suitably qualified person must now also be present in the steering gear room during ship transits of the Port Hedland channel.
Port Hedland pilots advised the ATSB that their safety management system has been updated to reflect the tug retention and utilisation guidelines of the port's escort towage strategy.
In addition, the ship's managers advised the ATSB that both an audible and visual alarm has been fitted to the vessel to alert crew in future instances where the ship's rudder angle indicators lose electrical power. Closed-circuit television cameras have also been installed in the ship's steering gear room to allow direct monitoring of the rudder angle from the bridge.
You can read the final report on the ATSB's website by searching MO-2022-007 by the link in the description below or the link in our bio.